You know what? Let's talk about what we want to do and what we want to stream and what we kind of want to share with the world. Um,
Sure.
so basically, we decided on creating. You know what? Let's take a step back. So about what was it, like 6 months ago or 5 months ago? Stevens and I, we worked on an app together that was kind of a quick and dirty app, internal app back in the company where I worked and Steven still works. And we decided to do like an internal app that will just communicate with some API layer and print out some data based on some input, right? Simple stuff. But what we ended up doing is we ended up pairing on this thing. And then when we paired on it, we streamed it, and it ended up being a huge success. A lot of people watched it, and a lot of people engaged with the stream, and a lot of people really dug the process. Really dug like how things are working and how things went and so on and so forth. So we decided on doing something similar. And what we decided on doing is basically do the same thing, and but build an app from scratch that will be kind of big, right? It's not a huge app. It's not something that we'll need to work on for all eternity, but definitely something that we'll work on for a couple of months. And we decided on streaming it, right? Pair programming while streaming it. And if you watched my streams, anytime in the last 6 months or so, you know that I show everything on the stream. It sounds weird, but I basically show my thought process. I don't skip steps. I approach the task in the stream as I would approach it in my day to day. Right. I don't hide anything, and there's nothing I skip or fast forward at all. Right.
Mhm.
So you want to talk a bit about what the app is, or you want me to talk about it?
Um, I think the origin idea was yours. You're a better person to talk about the app, but I do want to add that because your style, like your coding style and your parents' style, is a perfect kind of scenario and opportunity for relatively beginner to I think mid-level engineer to kind of learn. I guess just a little background, like Avi has a really really senior, great engineer. I
Oh, thank you.
on the beginner side, right, Avi has more than 10 years of experience across different technologies, while I only work, I think, full time in software for 2.5 years, while I did freelance for another year. So I'm like 3 years into the industry, while Avi has 10 plus years experience. And for me, this was the by far the best learning experience. I'm not sure if there's a certain sweet spot, in between like the distance in our knowledge and experience, but so far in my own experience, like being able to like pair with someone that's so much better and your style, like obvious style of pair programming and teaching was the most valuable thing I've experienced in my kind of career development and learning experience. And I guess that's one of the reasons we both thought it's a good idea to do a streaming so that uh, other people can also enjoy these resources. And as Avi is a very good person. He's always willing to share for free, right, at no cost.
Sure. So
So yeah.
thank you for that. And yeah, so let's talk a bit about. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Definitely appreciate it a lot. And that's why exactly while we were commuting together, we worked in the same company. So while we were commuting together, we thought it's gonna be like a great idea to do the stream. So let's talk a bit about what the app is gonna do. So the app is called the Creative Network.
Mm-hmm.
So Creative Network.
Oh, are you showing
Yeah.
like
So the
something?
app is called the Creative Network, and the app is essentially very simple, right? So let's talk a bit about what the app is. So the app is this: any kind of creative person. It can be a carpenter, it can be a painter, it can be a developer, an engineer. It can be someone showing off their home office, right? So any kind of creative person, from internal designer um, to, like I said, to a carpenter, right? So that's a so they go up to the website, and we're gonna have like a vertical for each of them. So they're gonna be the carpenter network, and they're gonna be the painter network, right? And then they go and they post their environment, right? So they're gonna post their environment, and they're gonna say, "Hey, this is my saw, and this is my my table saw, and this is my wall of tools, and this is my," and they're gonna show like pictures, right? They're gonna show
Yep.
this. They're gonna show pictures of everything, and at the end, they're gonna have a list of products that they show in the pictures, right? So they're gonna have like a list of products that they show in the pictures, and those products are gonna go to Amazon, right? So you're going to be able to show off your stuff and then link products to Amazon, so people can go and essentially, copy your style, copy your stuff, and find inspiration from you. Um, and and the inspiration from that is actually from a couple of Reddit, subreddits, where people post something. They'll post like their home office, or they'll post their
Battle station.
carpentry setup, or yeah, exactly, like battle stations. And then people are like, "Hey, what are those headphones?" And, "Hey, what is this desk?" And "What's this chair?" And "What's this microphone?" And "What's this headphones you're using?" And "What's this keyboard?" And "What's this and that?" And so on and so forth. um, and then the OP, so to speak, right? The original poster, he or she will reply and say, "Hey, this is this, and this is that, and this is this, and this is that," but there is no structure to that, right? He or she can either reply, or they don't reply. And if they have like a structure of stuff, they can upload an image, and then they can upload the product, and you can basically essentially like hover. Let's say you hover on the image with your mouse, right? So you hover on the image, and then you'll see this is the product, right? So um, you'll kind of, exactly like here, you'll hover on the image, and then you'll see this is the product, and this product will have a link, and the link will be to Amazon, right? So it's essentially like a really nice workflow around showing your stuff, and showing your whether it's development process, or it's you built a desk or whatever, so you can show the entire process with the links to products. um, again, I thought it's going to be a great kind of starter project to work on. I think a lot of people can benefit from that. And I thought streaming it will be an extremely beneficial to a lot of people. Okay, so because this is essentially a big app, right? It's not an app you can finish in a stream of 2 hours, or in a stream of 1 hour, or whatever. Then we kind of need to work in a more structured way, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I thought about doing is I thought about we'll do like three times a week,
Okay.
and then we'll work from we'll do the stream at the end of the day, right? Because it's easy to schedule, it's easy to coordinate, and it's easy to have the house quiet and everything like that. So um, we'll do it
Sure.
from 9:30 to 11, to 11 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Like three times a week, right? Let's start with 3 times a week, and
Sure.
then the next day we basically post the video, so people can either watch the stream live and add comments and stuff like that,
Yeah.
or and then they can uh, they can watch it a day later and add comments on the blog, or give a shout out on Twitter or whatever, right? So because we are streaming on three parallel channels. So we're streaming on live edu, we're streaming on Twitch, and we are streaming on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So usually when you stream on all three platforms, it's gonna be hard for people to follow the conversation, or it's gonna be hard for people to follow the questions. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a few editor windows open. So we're gonna have let's say this is tasks. So we're gonna have feedback. So um, whoops. So why is my editor not working? Just a sec. No, something is not working here. Yeah, yours is working, but mine isn't. So
I'm not typing anything.
no. Okay. So something is slow here. Just a sec. Okay. So okay. So let's see here. So we're gonna have feedback. Okay, so we're gonna have something like this. So I don't know, Paul. He asked, and then I'm gonna say, how do you create a new project? Right. So I'm gonna type in the question, or copy paste the question that someone asked on the screen, so everybody can watch it in real time. Then I'm gonna say Twitch. So this is where someone asked the question, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so we're gonna start off like this, and then once we're gonna have this window as a feedback open, and then we're gonna have another window with like our to-do list, and I don't know if people know the format, but the format is essentially very similar to what org mode in Emacs looks like. So let's open a recent file. Essentially today I got a new Mac. So I created a to-do list for myself of creating a new Mac. So essentially the to-do list looks like this, right? So you have a list of to-dos, and then you check something off. You see the date. You can tag stuff. So it's essentially a text file, but it has some nice little things where you can say, okay, so this is done now, and I've done this. And you can have tags, and you can search by tags and stuff like that. And the nice thing about it that here, like on the bottom, and I hope the stream sees this. Yeah, they do. So here in the bottom, you can see, okay, 43 out of 45 done. And obviously, as you go through the stuff, you keep adding stuff, and then stuff keep coming off. So it's a kind of a very nice little thing, and I think that having a to-do list and having the questions kind of visible on the screen is going to be a much more visible experience for the viewers, whether they are viewing in the real time in the stream, or they're viewing it the next day in the comfort of their own time, and they don't have to do it at 9:30 p.m.
What software is this again? For the to-do list, what
So
software
this
is
is
it?
just Sublime Text, and it has a plugin. The plugin is called Plain Tasks.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so it's essentially just Sublime Text. But as you know, I work completely in Vim,
Yeah.
and yeah, I only do Sublime Text for essentially to do, um, because I just couldn't find a really good one for Vim. Otherwise, I would just use Vim for that as well. Okay. So one thing that we can start off by seeing is that we are using Screen Hero right now to share the screen between us while we are pairing, and we can see right away that my computer is suffering a great deal from that. So for tomorrow's stream, we're gonna have to find a better solution. Um, okay, so let's start off.
Do you want to,
Yeah.
before we start, do we want to set which days we want to do it, or do you want to schedule it on the go?
No, I think we'll schedule for now. We'll schedule on the go. We'll
Okay.
see, we'll see how things go,
Okay.
and then we'll kind of wing it for now. I don't imagine we'll for the first couple of weeks we'll have a lot of people that kind of want the schedule.
Hmm.
But maybe if later people will really want to join, because I think it's a really comfortable hour for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's the end of the day. You kind of wind down and you can watch it on your, because it's YouTube, you can watch it on your mobile phone, while you're on the couch and relaxing. So
Yeah.
if people want like a tighter schedule, then we'll think about it. Obviously the challenge here is kind of real life, and I have 3 kids and stuff like that. So we're gonna have to find a solution for that to see how things kind of fall together.
Yeah.
Um, so, um, so let's start off by thinking about how do we want to build the project. So we need to think about tech, right?
Yes.
So so for the client side, um, we know we want to do it with React, right?
Yes. That's that.
Um, so for client side, we know that it's gonna be React, and for state. Okay, so we already have a question in the chat room, so we can go to our chat here, and we can start off with that. So, okay. So someone asked a question on Live EDU, and this is the question. Let me copy this.
This is Twitch TV.
Oh, sorry. So someone asked a question on Twitch. What project is this? So we explained it earlier. We're obviously gonna explain it again, because tomorrow we're gonna have a blog about what project is this. So we are building an app or a website. Call it what you want, and the website is basically gonna be a place for creative people to post their creation. And this creation, it can be a battle station, like a cool battle station of your computer and your home office or whatever. It can be your woodworking studio, it can be your paint studio, it can be your pottery studio, it can be whatever. And you post it and you post pictures of it, and then as you post pictures of it, people can hover on the picture, so you can tag the picture and say, this is this product on Amazon, right? So imagine if you share your home office, so there's a cool, like, this little thing, right? So what is this? How do you hold your iPhone? And how do you hold this camera here? And how do you, what is this board? right? Simple stuff like that. How do you hold this microphone? What is the arm? Imagine like I go zoom back out to where I'm sitting right now, and you see this screen, you see this screen, and they're holding on top of an arm. So you kind of ask yourself, what is this, and what is this, and what is this? So you don't need to ask yourself, I'm going to post this, and then I'm going to say, this is this product on Amazon, this is this product on Amazon, and then people can just find inspiration on, cool home offices, and cool living rooms and cool kitchens and whatever. And obviously we're going to tag those verticals, and each of them are going to have, their own website. But the general idea is that you post something with a bunch of pictures, and the pictures are taggable towards Amazon products. So that's essentially what the app is. And we're starting from scratch. There is absolutely zero built already. It's just an idea. And Stevens is with me. Steven, say hi.
Hi,
and
eucalyptus elephant.
and eucalyptus elephant. And what we are doing essentially is we are pair programming all the way through, from scratch. Whatever we get stuck, we Google, or whatever we get stuck, we discuss it. Steven's going to code, I'm going to code. I think, and we mentioned it in the, well, I think, yeah, so let me again copy the question over. Okay. Okay, so yeah, you can definitely call this a catalog, but it's a more of a more purpose-driven catalog where you can tag the images, and you can share like a story about it. Like, think about like you're sharing your home office. So if you post a picture on the wall, so you say, hey, this is the picture from back in the day, and then it's like a cool frame, so people can buy the frame. Or you post your, like, think about, like, again, where I'm sitting right now. So you post this whole like battle station of where I'm sitting right now, and then, hey, what's this keyboard? This is not a standard keyboard. And what is this computer arm? And what is this mouse that no one knows, right? And of course I'm kidding, because this is just the Apple mouse. But again, what is this microphone arm, and what's the monitor arm and stuff like that. So definitely can think about it as a catalog, but I think it's a more purposely driven one. And again, we're building from scratch, so people like you can affect the stream and ask questions and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it's going to be a really cool experience. Okay, so Eucalyptus Elephant, thank you for the questions, and I hope this answers your questions. Okay, so for the client side, we already know we're gonna build it with React, and I think for state management, we don't need to decide anything right now, but I would say definitely the
Redux.
Yeah, so I think Redux is definitely a candidate. But I think right now Mobix is another strong candidate for state management. So we're gonna kind of figure it out. And we are also gonna be doing, obviously npm and webpack and npm build scripts, right? And all of those like good stuff where you have a production build, and you have a development build, and staging and whatever. So we're gonna see what's going on there. So for the server side, and this is where things get a bit trickier, because I think really a great option here is gonna be Ruby and Rails. but I think it's not as popular today as it was. If 2 years ago we would do this stream, I think most people would kind of almost expect that it's going to be Ruby and Rails. Today, I'm not so sure. So for the server side, and again, we work together for a while.
Yeah.
I can do this and I can do, so it doesn't really matter for me. But I mean, I don't know. We can start.
We can try something else. I mean, for me personally, like Ruby on Rails, yeah, it might be a good candidate, but it's a bit boring to do the same thing all over again, right? So
Yeah.
we can experiment with other stuff.
Yeah. So I think maybe, I mean, the one thing that really pulls me towards doing the server side with Rails, or not even Rails, but I don't know, Python with Flask or Django, and then maybe Ruby, maybe even Go. I mean, the thing that attracts me about this is that you see two languages kind of working together, right? So you have the client side for the JavaScript and the CSS and the HTML, and all of the client side kind of languages and workflows and stuff. And then on the server side, you see something that is different, right? You see something that is it's not JavaScript. It's not something that you'll know, right? So if it's JavaScript, then there is a dennable object, and then there's a promise, and then there is this function, then there's this callback, right? But if you see something else, then you see, okay, so how do those things kind of work together? So this is the only reason why I don't automatically go with like Express, with like Postgres SQL or MongoDB or whatever. I think there's a lot of opportunity to show people how to work with multiple languages and what are the challenges there. So I mean, I don't know. Seriously, I mean, I don't know. And I think, and this is the cool thing here, we can, because this is a stream, there's no pressure on us to do any sort of deadlines, and there's no pressure on us to do basically anything here. We can do the most over engineered project in the world, right? So we can have a Rails skeleton, so this will be kind of the API layer, and then you'll have a JavaScript that will be the WebSocket layer, and then you'll have a Golang that will do something else, and then you have Lambda that will do something else. So I think you can do the most over engineered project in the world, and no one's gonna care because you teach a lot of things and you learn a lot of things. So I think for the server side, we'll kind of figure it out.
Yeah, I agree. I think since, for the purpose of streaming and for the purpose of both ourselves, this is a good opportunity for us to experiment with, whatever technology or language that, that we come to our mind, right? And I think that the watcher, the people who watch the stream, and for both of us, will all get the most amount of value from that approach. And like definitely. You said, there's no deadlines, and we can be as creative, as over engineered as possible, versus working in a company while the resources is always constrained, that we always had to kind of balance it out. And over here, we can go into our free realm and do whatever.
Yeah. So I think it's gonna be cool to do maybe, but I think so here's what I think. I think we need to find a balance here. And the balance is, I think we can go over engineer, but then we can lose a lot of people that just want to see how you build a full stack app, right?
Okay.
And how you build it and how you deploy it, and what are the challenges and stuff like that. And if you start, okay, I'm going to do this as a microservice, I'm going to do this as a microservice, I'm going to do this as a microservice, you're losing a lot of your people. You're losing a lot of the core people that care about the stream and that care about what you're doing, right? And you don't want to lose them, right? You want to keep them with you. So I think there's a challenge here, and we'll see how it goes, and I think once this goes, and once a few people watch the stream and watch how things go, then they will they will give us feedback, right? They will give us feedback and they will let us know what they think.
Sure.
So I definitely think that we don't need to overthink it right now. We can, wing it, and people will let us know. And from my experience with, with doing streams, people let you know pretty quickly. If
Mm.
you're doing something that is not to their liking or over their head or whatever, then they tell you, quite a bit early on in the way. Um, so so Rails client side is going to be React. I think for database, I think there's really only one option.
Postgres.
Yeah. I mean, we can go and say, hey, we're web scale and do Mongo. But
I don't think
I
that's
think it's definitely
necessary.
gonna be a good bet. And we're gonna have Redis for sure. And what else? Yeah, I think that's about it. Um, I mean, I don't see any need for you know Elasticsearch. But I think if we find it cool to do you know
Okay,
to do
interesting.
a full text search, and tagging and stuff like that, and more like this or anything else that Elasticsearch can do better than Postgres, then it's definitely gonna be a thing to think about.
Wait, is Elax? You think is Elasticsearch is a better candidate than Solar?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
I think Solar is great. I mean, Solar is great, but I would only use it if there is a legacy constraint. I think selecting something new right now with no legacy constraints and no, stuff that I need to think about, just cleanly thinking about technology, then
Mm.
um, I would definitely go through Solar. But um, other than that, if I don't have this constraint, then I will definitely go with Elasticsearch. So we have another question on Twitch, and it's from Amit Burst, and the question is, what will the app do? And as you can see, Amit, Eucalyptus Elephant already asked. But since there is no way to go back in the stream and watch it, then we're gonna explain again. And by tomorrow, we're already gonna have a blog post with what the app does, with like some basic mock-ups and stuff like that. Um, so the app is essentially a creative network. So creative people, and I'm gonna do it short this time because this is the third time I'm doing this. But
We have to have an elevator pitch version of this thing.
no,
Otherwise,
we'll have, after every episode, like we said, we're gonna have a blog post, and this is exactly why I'm pasting the questions here so we can paste it in the blog post. So the app is essentially a place for creative people to give inspiration and find inspiration. And it's basically, if you have a home office and you want to give inspiration to people that want to design home offices, like this one, like the one I'm sitting in right now, right? So you take some pictures of your home office, and then what you see is people ask questions like, what is this computer, what is this microphone stand, and what is this iPhone stand, and what is this keyboard, right? So essentially people ask a ton of questions because they are inspired by your home office, or by your carpentry studio, or by your pottery studio. And then they ask questions about, what is this product, and what you can do as a creative person, you take the pictures. And I got another idea. So they take the pictures, and then you take the pictures, and then you tag the pictures with like products, right? So you tag the picture of the products, and the products are like linked to Amazon or linked to whatever specialized website they can buy this product on.
Yeah.
So people have like a board, and they go through your home office, and then my home office, and then they find inspiration, and they just click on the product. They go to Amazon, they buy the product. Simple as that, right? And because you see someone that you're inspired by, then you're also inspired by their choice, and you're gonna, it's easier to make that choice as a consumer. So yeah, this is what the app will do. So thank you for thank you for watching. Second, thank you for the question. So I actually have a neat idea. I am thinking
About the product or the technology?
Yeah, about the technology. So I'm thinking mobile. So I'm thinking this
You
is a
want to do React
natural.
React Native?
Yeah, so I think this is a natural candidate to have a mobile product, where people can either find inspiration and also post the pictures. So I think doing a React Native,
That's not a bad idea.
a React Native mobile app with a focus towards maybe iOS,
Yeah.
is gonna be a great idea. I think it's gonna be cool to show how you reuse client side code in your React app and in your web app, and use kind of almost the same code, share the code, and only the presentation layer is kind of switched around.
Yes.
And actually now this gives me another idea that here I'm thinking we will use, instead of Rails, we will use so we'll use maybe
No.
Node.js, and we'll use like GraphQL, as a query
Yeah.
language towards in front of the API.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have two more questions slash comments. So let's copy them into the feedback here and here. Okay, so the same person, Amit Burst, sounds like a cool idea. What's your guys' background in coding? Okay, so Stevens, you start.
Yeah. So hi. So my name is Stevens. I am a relatively junior level engineer. I used to work in the same company as Avi. I have about 3 years of experience in software engineering. I did 1 year of freelance, and I did about 2.5 years of working as a professional in full stack web development. My experience are mostly concentrated on Ruby on Rails. So Ruby on Rails, a small amount of JavaScript, HTML, and CSS, and a tiny little bit of a DevOps, mostly coming from Avi. So that is my background. So I'm a junior level, web developer. So Avi, you
Yeah.
go.
So my background is I'm a senior engineer. I used to work in the same company as Stevens. I worked there for 6 years, and today I work at a company called Globality, and actually today was my first day, and so I'm a senior engineer. I have 16 years of experience, and I do everything. So I always call it from inspiration to realization. It doesn't even matter which layer is it. So from the client side to the DevOps side, I do everything. I just take one product and one product idea, and I go through all of the process. And actually, if you watch my streams on Twitch or Live EDU or YouTube, and we'll have like a blog post with all the show notes and stuff. Then you can see that I work on the client side one day, and then I work the other day on setting up Mesos with Flink and Apache Kafka with like a huge message volume and stuff like that. So, um, and Stevenson and I worked together for what, 2.5, 3 years.
2.5 years, yeah.
2.5 years, and we actually had this idea for this app back when we worked together, but it just just didn't, we just couldn't get it done. And then we thought it's gonna be a cool idea to do it and just stream through it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to add one thing, like one thing in common, between Avi and me is that we both kind of belong to the group of people that we never went to a professional engineering school per se. I have a degree in economics and business, but I don't have a degree in computer science. And Avi, as far as my understanding, he also did not go to a university or any professional training school for engineering. For both of us, this is something that we found our passion in engineering, and we absolutely love doing what it is. And that's also part of the reason we really enjoy streaming this, and hopefully make a good learning experience for everybody.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so I think, again, going back to like the tech stack here, I think your React Native app is gonna be incredible here, because I think you can do, and we can kind of scope the React Native towards just like consuming the content, right?
Yeah.
Or we can scope it towards the posting of the content. So you can post a picture, then you can tag, and stuff like that. So no user settings or anything like that. So don't go crazy overboard, but just do something that is a minimum viable product. So you can use the mobile app to do stuff, but you can you're going to use the website for most of the things. Or we decide the website is going to be the least thing, so it's only going to be consuming and stuff, and you're going to post through mobile. So we'll go through that, but I think it's definitely a product that calls for both both a mobile and a web app. And of course, the web app is going to be responsive app. So it's not that you either go to the web or you go to the mobile. I think the mobile is just going to be a native app that you can install, and then you can go through the content, this way.
Yep.
Okay, so I think we have a pretty good idea about what our tech stack is, and how are we going to go about doing that. And we are 45 minutes into the stream, so I think a good candidate for today is gonna be maybe set up. Set up like the React, and set up npm and stuff like that, so we can have a start for our project.
Yep.
I definitely think this is gonna be a good start, right?
And maybe we should talk about, since we're starting from scratch, and I think you will make the decision here. How do we in a project that requires both client side and server side, who goes first, right? In terms of architecture, and like, how does the thought process? How do you approach? Does the client side follow the server side architecture, or the server side follow the client side architecture, and stuff like that? That would be an interesting subject to discuss, right?
So,
like, how do you approach that? Think.
So I think the question is here: how do you approach
architecture in general?
A product like this?
Correct.
Like, who comes first, who comes second, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, exactly. I guess more specifically, in my mind, I cannot decide. Okay, do I design the client side first, and then the API will serve what the client needs, or do I design the backend API first, and then based on what the server side the data the server side can provide, and then the client will kind of just consume it. Right now, for someone at my level, it's all just a messy thing, right? And I imagine most people at my level and experience would have the same question, and how do you start? Where do you start? Right.
Okay. So I think so. First of all, I think this question is exactly why we are pairing on it, and exactly why the stream is great, because of the difference in the level of experience and in the level of stuff we worked on.
Right.
So I think this is gonna, if I would stream alone for this app, so I would just start, right? And the thing is, I would start, and then if I didn't get the question like this, I would just, this is, to me, this is obvious. I know where I start, right?
Yeah, for you. Yeah.
Yeah, but exactly. And what I'm saying is, this sort of questions is exactly why we're doing this together, and exactly why I think this is going to be a valuable learning experience.
Mm-hmm.
So I think really the answer to that, without an or ooh, whatever, is just, it doesn't matter, right?
Okay.
And
All right.
and I think for that, you can start with the client side, and you can start laying out and put the logo and put the buttons and put, stuff, and then start with like the design of the process, and then start laying out, like, think about it, right? So you have, let's say you have a homepage you thought about, right? And the homepage is going to look something like this. So, right, so it's gonna have a logo, right, like here. And I'm gonna show what I'm sketching here in a minute. So you're gonna have a logo, and then you're gonna have like a big, I don't know, upload button. And this is not, you know, this is not pixel perfect, right? So it doesn't, don't take the measurements as a final thing. And then
I can't really see your sketch.
yeah. I know. I'm gonna show
Okay.
it, just a sec. So you're gonna have like a picture and then some text, and then you're gonna have a picture and then some text, and you're gonna have pictures and then some text, right? So again, you have a logo, and then you have a big like upload button, and then you have all the like square with the contents, right? And then so someone asked a question on Twitch. I'm gonna in a minute. I'm gonna answer it, and I'm gonna paste it on the screen. So Amit, I saw your question. Give me a minute, and I will answer it. Right. So you're gonna have like a list of things, right? So you can start with that, and you can start laying out the list of things, and you can fake this list, right? You can fake it, and then you say, you know what? So I'm done faking it for now. I want to see how it communicates with the server side. Once you see how it communicates with the server side, then you're implementing this API, right?
Okay.
So you're implementing this API, and then as you're implementing this API, you say, hey, but I'm going to need API authentication. And is this list an authenticated request, or is it not an authenticated request? And then if it is authenticated request, then, hey, do I need to implement the authenticated request now, right?
Right.
And then you realize only here in the upload and sign in and sign out, I really need to know whether you're logged in or not. So really, for now, I can design this state of logged out without having anything, right? And again, because we are building a GraphQL, we already decided we're gonna build a GraphQL API. Then we don't need to worry about, we're gonna need this endpoint, and we're gonna need this endpoint, and we're gonna need this endpoint, right? So the API is much more flexible.
Yeah, GraphQL is great for this purpose.
Exactly, and I think it's gonna be a great learning experience as well. So another question from Amit Burst is here. Have you made a stable list of the requirement? And the answer to that is really easy. No. Nor do we really plan to.
Yeah,
I think
it's fun.
I think we have a high level. what we want to build, and we are going to do some sketches, in Balsamic or Azure or whatever, or even just a pencil and paper. We're gonna have some sketch and mock-ups of what the service is looking like and what the app looks like and what stuff like that. Then we work off of this. And people like you, if you be a loyal viewer, then you can participate. You can say, why don't we build this? And they were like, you know what? Fuck it. Why don't we? And let's do it. You know what I'm saying? So again, this is really a flexible thing, and we're doing it for the joy of doing this. So there's not really a stable list of requirements other than just inspiration. So yeah, I mean, I think as we go along, again, this is the first 51 minutes of doing this. So it's really all raw. But I think as we go along, the list of requirements is going to be refined. But it's never going to be like a waterfall project of this is the list of requirements and just, hey, do them, right? It's going to be a more of a, hey, we're inspired by this and let's do this. We're inspired by this and let's do that. But that being said, we do plan on finishing this. You know what I'm saying? We do plan on having this as a product, and we do plan on once we after every stream or every couple of days, we do plan on having a public version of it available, right?
Yeah.
And we do plan on deploying while we are streaming, so people like you don't have to go through just the stream to view the product. So you'll have like a visible thing to look at every couple of days at least. So that is the answer to that. So I think we answered like how do you approach architecting a product like this. Let's just tag this question here. And my computer is really, really, really struggling right now with Screen Hero. So we're going to have to find another solution for tomorrow. Well, tomorrow or Friday, but we're going to have to find a better solution because the combination of this and the open broadcaster software is just killing my computer completely.
Maybe we can try Zoom. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll try tomorrow. We'll see. Or we can try USSH into my machine and open in the tunnel for port 3000 so you can refresh the browser. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that works too.
So we'll see about that for tomorrow. So Amit, and I hope this answers your questions. And for the blog, so first of all, my Twitter username is KensoDev, so feel free to follow because I'm gonna post all the updates there. So this is my my blog, and I'm gonna post an update there as well. And obviously on Twitch and on LiveEDU. And all the platforms that we are streaming to. Okay, so I think we have a pretty good idea of what we're going to do and how we're going to go about this. If someone in the chat room has any other question, right, now is the time. Feel free to go ahead and ask. And don't be shy. Okay, so we have a client, we have a server side. So for the server side again, and I know I'm focusing on that too much right now, but we can build GraphQL with essentially anything. So we can do Python, we can do Ruby, we can do Node. I'm pretty sure we can also do Golang.
I think Golang and Node would be interesting. Like you said, I think...
We're definitely going to have Golang. 100% going to have Golang. 100% we're going to have Node for like image processing on Lambda. So someone posts a photo, and we upload the photo to S3, for example, and then we're going to have a Lambda function that compresses these files into different sizes. So you're gonna have a thumbnail, then you're gonna have a 100 over 100, or 500 over 500, and so on and so forth. Yeah.
No hag.
So
Welcome.
on Twitch, No Hag says hi, hey man, or women, or woman, or someone. So hi back, and thank you for watching. Okay, so again, I think we have a pretty good idea of where we want to start, and we don't have a lot of time left. We have like 10 minutes. So I think what will be a good starting point is to start off with the client side, and just setting up all the React stuff. Just set up the project and just have npm installed and webpack and all of those stuff.
Okay. Sounds like the starting point.
Okay, so let's go here. And let's open another one that is plain tasks here. And so we're gonna do to do here, and we need so create. Why can't I type today? The client side project. All right, so again, we have so we're gonna need React, right?
Yep.
Okay, you know what? Let's just go ahead and get started. Okay. So let me put this back. And I'm sorry about that. I don't know why this happened. Here. Okay. All right, cool. So let's go to code, and then open source. Okay, and then I already actually created a directory for the creative network. So let me go to that. Okay, so creative network client, but as I promised, it's completely empty. So all we did, we did it yesterday when we kind of set up the stream and saw the recording is working, and you can hear both microphones with your microphone and my microphone. But there's and yeah, this was an experience.
That was quite an experience.
Yeah, that took some setting up. I didn't expect it to be this difficult. It definitely took some work and took some effort, and I ended up sweating. So it definitely was challenging. So we are going to start off with the client side. So for the client side, we'll do npm init. Okay, and again, you see that my computer is hurting because this is taking 100 hours. So the name of the package is the Creative Network Client, and let's start off with 001. Description is Creative Network Client. Entry point. Yeah, why not? Index.js. Task command for now we don't need. Git repository for now we don't. Keywords. Author is what, let's use. Okay, and then license MIT for now. Yes, this is fine. Okay. So now, so let's open up a new session. Okay, of course it's not a valid one. All right. Okay, come on, come on. All right. So one other thing I'm gonna do right now, right away, is gonna do git init. And we can now open up Vim to start our work. Okay, so let's look at our package.json. And we don't have anything here. And what I want to do is I want to start setting up things that we need. I guess one question that is natural here is, why don't I use any like React starter or anything like that? I think it's only a natural question, and the reason for that is that I never see myself needing this. So that's why I usually just either go through a project that I already have and I just copy the package.json and the initial like index file or whatever, but then I just go through like a simple setup process, and it usually takes me around, I don't know, 10 to 15 minutes tops to get a project started. So I don't really need the rest. But I think the problem right now is that is 10:55 and we kind of boxed us to 9:30 to 11. So I think this is a good place to close for today. We have a good description of what the project does. We have a good list of questions for the blog post. And I think this is like a good place to stop here, and more so is a good place to start tomorrow, because all we have is essentially this. All right.
Okay.
So it's definitely a great starting point.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so gonna see you tomorrow, and I hope to see you guys in the chat room tomorrow too. So for tomorrow, we're going to have a blog post describing this. We're going to have a blog post with this video up. And we're going to have everything kind of described and set up, hopefully. And then hopefully we're going to do another stream tomorrow. And keep yourself posted on Twitter. And again, the Twitter username is KensoDev here. And this is the blog. So yeah, so goodbye for today, and we are going to see you tomorrow.
Yep. Bye.